Gary can't hear me now. Gary Martin is a new dad. I was going to ask him about that. Elizabeth is holding something up for us to see. What is that, Elizabeth?
Oh, it's this funny book. It's called Listography. Your Life in List.
Lauren, I think that funny noise is coming from your. Can you mute when you're not?
Pardon?
I think the noise is coming from you. I'm not sure. If you could mute, we're getting a squawking.
Okay.
Just when you're not talking, you turn it back on. You know how to do that, right? And I just obviously turn that back on.
Is it me?
Who is that? I don't know. Is it me?
It's making all that noise.
That's like relationships. You say it's not you.
So, Rob, just so you know, all of that noise that you had I had my microphone off, and it's not me.
Okay. Well, it's gone now. Anyway, let me say hi to our studio audience of millions of people. This is the Small Business Coffee Break, sponsored by the Entrepreneur, Self-Employed, and Small Business Community on Google+. And that's about the limit of how formal we're going to be. This is a group where we just get together, we kind of just talk. Technically, things always go wrong, as they do now. Feel free to join us. We still got more slots. And that's it. People from now on, just forget that we're being recorded. I just do that for kind of the convenience of people who come later, so we can kind of all get to know each other better. But feel free to cuss and swear or do whatever you do normally. We're not restricted here. And Elizabeth, I didn't hear what your book was. You started to show what you were showing us?
Pardon?
Elizabeth Snyder is a personal chef in Baltimore, I think. You were showing us a book.
Oh, it was a book that I was glancing through before it started.
Oh, you weren't showing. You were this. Okay. And let's see, why don't I just say hi? Well, I already know Gary, so let me say hi to Angela. Angela, what do you do and what city are you in?
What am I doing?
No, what do you do?
What do I do? Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I'm Amazon. I work on Amazon, not for Amazon, but for a private company, manage their e-commerce, and I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW area.
Oh. Well, that's a nice segue because Gary is a new dad, and he's also in Texas, but I forget what city. Gary, where are you in Texas?
Houston.
In Houston.
I'm in Houston, Texas.
And how's your new fatherhood? You have a baby girl just arrived in the world, I believe?
She's amazing.
Oh, cool. Cool. Was that that was just a month ago or something? Or?
Yeah, she'll be 2 months on the 8th.
Well, congratulations. And who's the other little one there in the background?
That's my other daughter, my 4-year-old.
Oh, so cute. Gosh.
Yeah. She's hiding behind the chair.
And Nathaniel, hi. I think you and I have met before. Nathaniel, can you hear us? I can't hear him. As I recall, Nathaniel, I shouldn't try to remember this. I think he is a company in Northern California. So, I don't have to be the leader here. Like, I'm still waking up, seriously. I'm kind of a night bird. It's a problem because my schedule keeps getting later and later, and then it's a cycle that feeds itself. So, does anybody have anything they want to rant about? Anything? What's on your mind? I mean, business, not business, whatever. This is just our coffee break. That's all this is. Doesn't have to be about anything. What's on somebody's mind? Say something, someone else. Silence. Shy bunch of entrepreneurs here.
I know it.
I think it's because we're so brainwashed.
Well, I'll rant then. I'll rant. Because I ranted on my Google Plus profile. And this has nothing to do with business. But I ran into the most nutcase thread about Syria. Because these Europeans just, all these dumb shit conspiracy theories. I just swore on camera it was like the pseudo-intellectual stuff where, America's always evil. And seriously, I don't have much of an opinion about the whole Syria situation. I don't know if we should invade or not. I kind of don't think so. I don't think anybody in the U.S. wants a war right now. And they were just making us sound like we were all just bloodthirsty. We just wanted to kill people for fun. And the conspiracy theory they had or at least one of them had, but nobody spoke up against it. The conspiracy theory they had was that America gassed the. Let me see if I can even get this right. America poisoned the Syrian civilians so that we could have an excuse to go to war and show off our military because we're getting irrelevant in the world. That's a pretty complicated strategy. That's actually what they're saying. So I don't know if I'm out of line on my own coffee break by bringing up politics here. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Or?
It sounds like, this is Angela. It sounds pretty controversial. I mean, I every time I watch politics or conspiracy theories, I get emotionally involved, and I get very upset and angry. Yeah. So I know it's.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was pissed. I was like, because it was just like, it was also I was being told as an American, and I hope we have a lot of people from other countries. I hope some of them come today. And I didn't mean for this to go into politics, but this is just kind of, like I said, it's a coffee break to talk about what's on your mind.
Right.
What upset me is a bunch of people came in and started saying, basically I had no right to have an opinion unless I did thorough research on all the horrible things America's done, and I just totally acknowledged that about how terrible we are. And it was just like, this is not a conversation. This is people, whatever. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on politics. What's on someone else's mind? Any topic. Anybody have anything? Hey, Dawn, how you doing today? Dawn Lamont, can you hear us?
Hi. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Dawn is a personal growth consultant in Washington, D.C. area. What's on your mind today, Dawn?
I'm a life coach.
A life coach.
And I work over the internet.
Oh.
And I just missed your rant, huh?
Oh, I was ranting about politics, which I probably shouldn't do because it's a bit whatever.
I'm doing good. I'm not here with coffee, but I do have graham crackers and milk. Does that count? Is it okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's my hammock in the back. It's just if you're wondering, because there's this weird contraption I can see in my camera. I'm like, that must look kind of weird.
Okay.
It's a sitting hammock for meditation. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Meditation's good stuff. We all should do that more often. And let me say hi to Nathaniel. His camera didn't work before. Hi, Nathaniel. Can you hear us this time? Are you muted, or is your mic working? Or
is that unmuted now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, when I first joined, it muted me by default. I guess I've been muted from Hangouts forever.
That looks like a snowball mic with a pup filter on it. No, oh, okay. That would explain it. That's cool. Do you like it?
It's all right. It's not really what I needed, but I've kind of committed at this point. I wanted to get something for podcasting, so it kind of works, but it's a condenser mic, so I get a lot of sounds from the outside in my podcast, and it doesn't have that like warm podcast sound to it.
Have you noticed the switch on the back? You can change it.
Yeah, I know you can change it, but it's still like technically I should only be getting sounds from the front, but I still get like sirens in the background, and if my fan's on, I can hear that, or there's a lot of like computer buzz noise that I get, where with like a directional mic, it's a lot easier you can really get your face close up to it, and then it'll just pick up your voice, and it has that podcast sound.
What kind of podcast do you do?
Just with my One More Cup of Coffee blog, kind of about affiliate marketing and self-employment and working from home, stuff like that.
Okay. And you're in the Central Valley of California, is that right?
Well, I moved actually. Now I'm in Southern California. Still in California.
Cool. Where?
Oh, you're in San Diego, aren't you?
Yeah.
Riverside. So
cool.
Pretty close. So I've been here for about.
I always end up doing business in Riverside. I don't know why. I mean, no offense to your area, but I don't really care for the California Inland Empire. For people that don't know, it's just this place east of Los Angeles. It's just vast. It's like, and it's a little bit like Texas. Is that a fair comparison? It's just like kind of an anything goes area of California.
I've never been to Texas. It's hard to
regulated, not as zoned as much as the rest of California is. More business centric. I don't know. I'm stereotyping maybe.
Texas is better than California except for the weather.
What's that, Gary?
Texas is better than California except for the weather.
It's better for business. There's no doubt about that. It's but I think California is making a comeback. It's the good news has been creeping out of California slowly. Not great news for me. I'm still struggling, but
it's funny.
The news is getting better lately.
Me and my wife had actually been talking about moving to California. But,
seriously? Just any particular place, or?
We're looking at Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Monterey area. We're looking at kind of central northern California.
Just for a change, or any particular reason, or?
Weather. The biggest thing.
The weather in Sacramento, I don't know if you'd be that happy. It's pretty hot there. It's blazing hot.
I think it'd be better than. It's constantly 100 degrees, 110% humidity here. So.
I hate the heat. I think when humans evolved, everybody got genes that helped them survive somehow. I think I got cold weather genes. I'm fine with really, really cold weather. I'm not good at heat at all. So
that's how I was pretty excited about moving up to Alaska. But.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, I had a chance to go to Fairbanks for whatever the Alasia, you would know this, oil company. Is that the name of it, or pipeline company? On a project management gig. That would have been so cool. It would have been life-changing. I didn't get it. But it came close. It would have been fun. So what are other people, I'm not leading this, so just jump in and say whatever you want. Let's just start coffee break. Somebody else talk. Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
What's going on?
Hi. So, let's see, current event in my life. Well, I have had a small business. I've worked for lots of small businesses, but I have jumped back on the Mary Kay thing. I hate to admit that, but that is a new.
Oh, your makeup looks beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're all in high definition now on these things. I was not happy about that. It's like you can see every zip now. I heard that yesterday.
Nothing fancy
I looked at myself
on
in the
here.
camera. I looked at myself in the camera. I'm red complected anyway, and I'm great. But anyway, go ahead, Angela. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, there's nothing else to report, other than, just been working as a social media and e-commerce person independently for a while, and it's just felt like I needed a different, something new and something different market to diversify. So it's kind of scary going in because, I failed at it before, and as having more experience in having a small business, whether it's brick and mortar or in a cloud somewhere, there's a lot of emotions involved, but I'm excited and staying optimistic, and definitely.
That's cool. And everybody and his dog is doing social media these days, and maybe I'm just seeing too much of it from Google+.
It is.
But it's just like, God, there was a time last week, and I ranted about this, and I got in trouble for the rant. But I logged out to my Google+ stream, and the whole thing was about Google+. It's like, I don't come to Google+ to read about Google+. It was, how-to guides and how I became successful using Google+, and how you can become successful.
I saw all those.
What's that?
I think I know the post you're talking about.
Yeah, you saw that. And of course, what as always happens, somebody with like about 3 followers comes in and starts giving everybody, a bunch of advice. Oh, you don't know what you're doing, and it's just like, and that's another thing. You can't really even talk about everything in Google+. But yeah, I've been getting a little bit of trouble in Google+, and I got in trouble yesterday with my, well, I didn't get in trouble, but the Syria thing. So I don't know, social media can be an energy suck if you let it, and I do sometimes. Who was it? Angela that said that conspiracy theories, like, kind of, you get emotionally involved in them because they're so stupid.
I do. I used to be a huge conspiracy theorist. I watched thousands of YouTube videos. I was so interested in UFOs and government conspiracies. I got so wrapped in it that I got paranoid, and so now I'm I have boundaries, and I limit myself to as little as possible.
Yeah,
but
a few aliens and that kind of stuff.
Oh man, I was consumed. I was like, they're out there, and I guess you can get addicted to anything, and I got addicted to that.
What was that old show? I'm probably showing my age now, but The Truth Is Out There. What was that show?
X-Files.
X-Files.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of modern twists on X-Files now, too.
a modern twist on X-Files, Gary? What'd you say?
Yeah, like Fringe and all the other sci-fi shows. There's Fringe, and then there's
Oh yeah, Fringe. Yes, I never thought of that. That is kind of something.
Isn't there Roswell or something like that? Am I just, I don't know.
I know there was. Have you guys watched that Continuum? The Continuum. It's on Sci-Fi Network. It's a TV show that was broadcasted in the U.S. and it's basically prisoners that jump time because of. You'd probably like it, Rob, because it's about corporate world taking over. There's no more government.
That's already happening. That's not sci-fi. It's like, no, sure. On a really serious note on that point, I think our society really is changing. And, I think there's like 3 classes, 2 or 3 classes of people now. There's the people who have government and corporate jobs. And then there's a vast number of the self-employed. And that's kind of the group we're in. And it's amazing. It almost seems like our whole society, I'm more talking about America, this might be true in Europe too, I'm not sure. It's almost like all our politics, all the discussions, everything is geared towards people who have corporate and government jobs. And their numbers are shrinking, and the numbers of people that are self-employed in some way are growing, and they're more. It's like 100 million in the U.S. now. 100 million people are not in the traditional workforce, and it's like this shadow economy that none of the politicians or anyone even talks about. So anyway, that's another rant.
You got Rob started. Look at it.
I know. He's on a roll. I think a lot of it has to do with how much they're being paid in Congress, because that's the mentality you have when you don't have to really, when you're making in your certain income bracket, your mentality of what the society standard should be it affects that. And I'm not finding the right word to translate what I'm trying to say, but...
No, I think that is so right on. I think that is actually the central point. I know, American health reform is controversial and all that, Obamacare, but what always gets me is all those guys have great government-supplied health care, and they never bring that up, and none of them renounce it. The only one that's renounced it, to my knowledge, some person I don't care for that much, Ron Paul, libertarian from Texas. At least he stood with his principles. None of those people that get up and rant about health reform have renounced. They get government health care that we pay for. Excuse me. I'm choking. I'm so emotional now. And that doesn't even come up. And all Obamacare really is a market where you can buy it. It's not government insurance. Anyway, I'm getting political. Somebody else say something. Elizabeth, you're quiet. You say something.
Yeah.
I'm having a quiet day. I'm sole proprietor, so I don't have any employees to worry about as far as health care. I just pay for my own. Well, but that'll change sooner or later. But anyhow, I was wondering if anybody had some feedback about when proposals tank, or you just don't get any feedback after the huge proposal.
An RFP, like you responded to an RFP, you mean?
Pardon? You
mean you responded to a request for proposal, or you never, or it was an unsolicited proposal? What kind of proposal was it?
For a party, or I don't know all the industries that people work in here, but just it could be a proposal for anything, and all the time that you put in it, and then there's like don't want to like overstep your bounds and not hammer them with email or phone calls, but all the time that you put into a proposal to land a job, and then it's like they've fallen off the face of the earth.
Oh, that's frustrating. That's
so frustrating.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm going to fill my coffee up. Somebody talk to Elizabeth.
I'm listening.
I mean, are you going out and you're trying to contact them after the proposal?
Well, yeah, but I had a couple of them happen recently where like I put a ton of work into the proposal, so that and then no response, like uh, and then asking them, did they even receive it? Because that's a possibility. It happens.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of rude on their part, in my opinion.
It's totally rude.
Yeah.
It's so rude.
Well, and it kind of dovetails with what I said about, and what Angela said about, people in corporations don't get it. They think everybody is like that.
It's a mentality. Uh-oh.
I don't know. I guess I'm just having issues with people's manners.
Craig, you just muted Rob. I don't know how you unmute him. I don't even know how you did it.
I didn't think when
that's
you muted somebody that you could mute them for everyone.
Yeah, he suddenly went quiet.
You guys muted me?
No, you're...
I probably deserved it. I was
Finally, someone
ranting
took the initiative.
about something dramatic.
And I guess it's I guess for me right now it's trying to decide where to let it just go, so that I'm not being too aggressive, but not losing it all. Losing the possible party or
The job.
event.
I have a question. And now, Elizabeth, is this for a client or is this for? Now this proposal, is this for you to gain revenue? Are you like pitching an action plan for your services?
It's someone that contacted me, and then I worked up the whole menu, sent it to them, and asked them if there is any, is this what you're looking for? Any changes, that you would like, to make? Is this kind of up your alley? And let me know when you're available to talk about it, or if you just want to email back and forth. And I put a lot of time into the proposals, and these aren't my weekly regular clients. This is kind of like icing on the cake kind of jobs. So it's frustrating, but I don't want to aggravate somebody who's not interested, but
I think at some point you have to aggravate them, and just make that phone call and say, hey, if you didn't like it, I'm a small business person. Pretty much what you said to us. I'm a small business person. I need feedback for the next guy, and then
somebody else might want that date, and I kind of have it penciled in. Yeah,
exactly. But you have the fact that you've done the proposal, so you have that boilerplate. It hasn't been a total waste because you'll be able to modify that for another customer. But at some point, I think what holds you back and things like that is fear of the final rejection. And I think you have to take it. If the communication isn't good, you have to take it. So, well, I'm gonna get the rejection right now. Someday when you're feeling strong, and get some feedback at the same time, and try not to tell them to blow it out their ass. Polite,
right?
Because they might come back later.
Right, but I see where she's coming from, because I ran into that issue where I put in all the time and effort into a proposal, submitted it, didn't hear anything back. Contacted them, didn't hear nothing back. Called them, no return calls, nothing. And literally months go by before you hear anything. There's been a couple where I've never even heard anything back at all.
Yeah. There were some discussions on the entrepreneurs community kind of related to this about automating the proposal process. And a lot of people, I don't remember any of the specific technologies now, but a lot of people, especially in web companies, use really, really automated systems. There's one you even pay a monthly fee for. And, you type up some paragraph information about them, and it cranks out a really nicely formatted proposal in much less time. So that removes some of the kind of the emotional that you busted your ass writing this custom proposal for someone that didn't talk to you. You know, you just start cranking out more. You know, kind of the numbers.
Right, but when in the web industry too, in the software industry too, but a lot of the proposals are very specific to that job. So I have a pipeline that I follow, the steps that these are things that need to get done for every job, and I'll use that to help build a proposal. But as far as for automating, I don't think it's a good idea to automate it because of the fact that every job is different.
Right. I agree with every job is different. What I was going to add is that in the social media world, when I first started, I would give people my time for free for proposals, and I was getting more rejections than exceptions, and I had to change my strategy. And when people confronted me, like in your situation, if someone asked me for my services or for my opinion about what's the best strategy, I actually charge a consulting fee for that time, and I make it, $75 an hour, and I'll include a report of, an analysis of what I think is good for you, so that way they're committed and they take you seriously.
Yeah. Boy, people are getting sick of working for free.
Sick of what?
Working for free. I mean, you're hearing more people. We had
I think that's a great idea, and I think that's something I need to start doing. So to see if people are really serious about that, and not feel like I'm badgering them. Then I don't put myself in a situation like I'm badgering them, and then also all the money all the time that I've spent on it isn't down the drain.
I don't work in the.
Yeah, so much of our time is spent on that, and then at least you get something out of your time, because I don't think people realize that we spend so much time on our work before the product is ever delivered, the product is ever seen, or you even meet with them.
Yeah. I mean, Angela said that $75 an hour.
I mean, I just depend. It just depends. I normally throw out $100 an hour, and I let them know up front, listen, we're going to have a 1-hour consultation, and then I'm going to follow it up with minutes of our meeting, and it's going to also include a forecast of what I think is best for your business, and so you'll have it in writing. And if you want to go from there, I can create an an action plan. You want me to work, you want to implement an action plan, I can create that for free, and we can negotiate an hourly rate of whatever it is. Because social media, it's so diverse. Some, if it's an international, plan, you have to international. Some people just want YouTube. Some people want Facebook. Small business, they want foot traffic. I mean, I don't know what your services are, but you can get the idea of what the tool is.
She's a personal chef and party planner.
I'm a chef. Yeah, I'm a personal chef.
Okay, I see.
I've regular weekly clients, but then this. Time that I'm getting dogged for and no response. It doesn't happen very often, but I had 2 recently, and that burns.
Yeah.
As a life coach, there's
money.
Application process that I have people. I'm implementing it where there's an application in order to have a consultation at all, and the more time that the person puts in, that they invest, the more they're likely to follow up. Yeah. Do you want to get them to invest to know that they're real, and to get them to actually be with you in it? Otherwise, they're just like, hey, do all this work, thanks. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
By the way, for everybody here, Google is going to, they do now, it's in beta, but you can charge for Hangouts now. And you have to apply. They say they're looking for good fits now, but that's coming where,
That's cool.
Yeah, you'll be able to charge that $75 an hour or whatever, to do a private, and that's kind of cool.
And Google takes a chunk out of it, I'm sure.
But I don't think it's, and who cares? It's probably not a big chunk, but that's a pretty cool thing. That's a kind of a game changer too. Yeah, in your business, Dawn, why not? In fact, in almost anybody's, it's just like that initial consultation. What I was going to say before, another rant, is that people are just getting so sick of free. We had a, small business and self-employed people. We had a hangout this was probably a couple months ago now. With it was about sales and marketing, and they were giving me advice. Give something away for free. And a couple of the small business people said, "We're sick of giving stuff away for free." The idea is they'll like you better if you give something away for free, and then you'll schmooze them. But I'm not sure that it works. I think they just kind of sets up an expectation that you're just a chump or something. I don't know.
I think it's more about getting into the conversation with the person. If they know what you're like, what your vibe is like. That's
Right.
at least for me as a coach, if the person can have a chance to actually get a sense of who I am and what I'm like, and then I can enter into a conversation with them, then that's everything. Giving them what I've been told to create free ebooks and your opt-in gift and various things like that. I'm just going to do a newsletter with cool stuff in it, and people can join if they want to, and I'm going to put it on my blog, and that's cool. And that's because I want to, not because I think I want to get you to get my. It's just this weird mentality of lack.
Hey, by the way, what this hangout was going to be about? We have this.
There was a topic.
Yeah, there was a topic, and it was going to be about content creation and marketing. That's almost as controversial as Libya. I mean, it's like there are so many strong opinions on what you should do with content marketing and what you shouldn't do, and they're kind of all over the map.
The more fear there is, the stronger the energy in the situation.
Yeah.
People are freaking out, in other words.
Yeah. Well,
otherwise, there wouldn't be controversy.
There's certain things I'm afraid to post on Google Plus because people get too mad at me. But I saw one a while ago about something about is Google killing small business or something. And it was less inflammatory than it sounds. But the point was, suppose you're a locksmith. Like, according to all this content marketing stuff, what you're supposed to do, you have a small little, tiny little shop as a locksmith. According to Google and social media people, what you should do is you should be blogging about locksmithing. And you should be writing up posts that have keywords about locksmith. And you should be interacting on social media about locksmithing. But they raised the point, should a locksmith really be doing all of this, or should he or she be concentrating on his locksmith business? I thought, that's not a bad point. It's hard to, but what do you guys think?
I think there's a lot you could say about locksmithing. I mean, I've never been locked out of a house. Like, what do you do in X situation? I guess maybe you would have your smartphone with you anyway, so you would.
Well,
okay, so let's say
you're actually right on about that. But what if every locksmith in the country was doing that? I mean, how much because there's so many implications of the whole issue of content management. Right now, I think we have more posters than we have readers. And readers are just getting overwhelmed with garbage. I mean, it's just like there's so much junk on the internet. Yeah, I do think that would be interesting, but it's not for everybody. Anyway, I didn't mean to rant again.
No, if you have, if you have a business like that, I totally understand your point. The question is how do you get that advantage? Because a lot of sites, like these big sites like Mashable or Business Insider, like they just write about everything under the sun that they don't have expertise on. So let's say Mashable comes out with a post like, what do you do when you get locked out of your house? They're going to get ranked ahead of a local locksmith because they have that authority, and it sort of leaves that local business left out of the search engines because they don't have that authority within Google.
And this is just for everyone else's benefit, this is Nathaniel's area of expertise. You actually do those niche. He actually does
imagination, but sorry, what?
You actually do those niche sites, right? Where that are keyword intensive, and you actually make good money off them. So, it's just that not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I wouldn't quite say keyword intensive, but I totally understand what you meant when you said that it can get controversial about what you should do or shouldn't do, because people do have strong opinions.
Plus,
I definitely
trends change.
What's that?
Trends change.
Yeah, and you really made a good point that you got to kind of do what you want to do because that's what's going to last. If you're into what you're doing, you're going to be able to do it through all the Google changes and whatnot. instead of following whatever the fad is. You know, they used to have a thing on keyword density where you had to, but that's the hard thing. Like, to have your site be competitive in normal search, you know, if you don't have a brand that people know, you kind of have to keep up with the trends, because otherwise you're left out. I mean, it used to be you had to have like a 2 to 3% keyword density, or you just wouldn't get ranked for the keyword, and that was just the game. And the people that had the 3% keyword density, they ranked. And you know, those posts are old, and now they have new posts that follow new rules. And I'm not saying it's right, and that's not necessarily what I do, but that's what the masses are doing. And you know, the new thing now is content is king. You have to produce content, and people get on the content mills because that's what Google wants to see. Google wants to see that you're providing all this information. And I mean, theoretically, their algorithm can sort through all the crap and bring the good stuff to the top. That's not always the case.
See, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I went through a workshop recently, and they emphasized a lot what you said, but they also re-emphasized the new thing with Google is social votes. And that's why, because I have seen too a huge annoying trend with more social media people. I'm going, wow, you know, used to be just not that many of us. Now they're coming out of the woodwork. But with this information going around that social media votes count on your website for rank, I mean, that's obviously going to create, you know, the motivation for website owners to get involved in social media more.
This was a question, like when we were, I think Rob was talking about social media a bit earlier. I get so frustrated, and it's partly because so far I feel like I'm failing in social media. But
you're failing. That's really not good.
the social media people, they just don't stop, and they get on this like snowball effect where they just post, and there's these automated posts, and they just post and post and post. I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's posts in my Google feed, and I go to bed at 12:30 at night, and there's posts in my Google feed, and it's just so overwhelming. And there's a few big brands. Like there's a guy who I follow, and he posts like two sentence things on Google Plus that are, you know, inspiring quotes. Which, okay, that's fine. Like that's what you want to post. But there's 20 people that comment on it, and it's just because he has these following. And let's say me, yeah, and you know, I don't want to get too like me-centric here, like, oh, nobody's listening to me, help me out. But let's say I post a 500-word post with extremely relevant, extremely helpful information. Nobody's going to care because I just don't have that kind of following. So I feel like Google is sort of, or I feel like the emphasis is overdoing the social media thing. Like social media is not always about being helpful. It's more of like who is the loudest. Who can do the most stuff.
It's also about the way people are seeing the world these days with communication and connection between people. I was talking with a friend of mine who's a therapist, and it ends up the trend for communication between individuals, which is a big drive for business. People talk to each other, they go to you, especially local business. Yeah. The big trend is connection light. As in, we want little sentences, like Facebook has really, I mean, Facebook's starting to go out because everybody's, but still around. It's those one-sentence Twitter quick things that people can actually just say, yeah, and they get to speak and talk about themselves.
Yeah, you know, I'm just getting back into Twitter, and I'm starting to like it. It's going to get me in trouble on Google+, but I go, yeah, you know, because you can't really post links on Google+, unless you do a really good write-up. It's just... You know, if I started bombarding my own feed with links, you know, people would just get turned off. But you can on Twitter. You can just, and you can get through politically on major issues. There's a reason Twitter is used in revolutions and Google Plus isn't. I had a situation where I'm using this new thing, IFTTT. If this, then that. Check that out if you haven't yet. It's amazing. It's a way of connecting cloud applications. But it wasn't working with Hootsuite. I made a little a tweet about it, and both these pretty big corporations, IFTTT and Hootsuite, contacted me. Hootsuite looked me up and made a trouble ticket. this would never happen on Google Plus. I mean, this was just from a little blurb, you know. And so the different social medias have different purposes, but I do get what Dawn is saying. This is short, like,
I think,
here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
a little bit of information, it sparks conversation. When you spark conversation and the interaction, that's what's going to give you more of a social media following. Dustin Stout did a big experiment not so long ago on Google Plus, where he was posting brief descriptions and a link to his blog, and he tracked how many Google Pluses it had and how many Google shares it had, and then tracked it on his page. And then he also tracked the increase in the rank. It was crazy because when you got a Google Plus, it basically counted as 100 ranks, for example. But when you got a Google share, it counted as 300 ranks. So his blogs and his posts were ranking really high, really fast because of him posting on Google Plus. And it was all in conjunction with the pluses and the shares. And the thing is, he only posts, you know, a blurb, a couple sentences about that blog on Google Plus with the link, and that's all it took. And
So he takes his own, he writes on his own blog, and then he writes a little brief little
like
summary.
a snippet of it, like a little summary on Google Plus, and then the link to it. Okay, and then for every comment he got, it was like it increased his rank. Every plus he got, it increased his rank, and every share he got increased his rank even more. And it was the hierarchy, as the share was worth more points than the plus was and then the comment was. But every comment counted, every plus counted, every share counted.
Interesting.
and people love to talk about themselves.
Yeah. The other thing I'm hearing,
You gotta give
and
them the
Dawn might,
opportunity too. Yeah.
Dawn might like this, but I do a lot of reading on Feedly, you know, previously reader, and there's a lot of things now that say social media is making us lonely. Hi, Risto. We got a few people joining us. Risto, can you hear us? Not yet. And Soul Power Coach. I forgot your actual name, but she actually interviewed me. So can you hear us, Soul Power?
I think I just saw that he was muted.
I muted Risto. It sounded like someone was having lunch.
Yeah, you muted him for me too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't know people could mute.
I didn't know either.
Oh, sorry. I
didn't know people could mute me.
I'm sorry.
Shut up, Rob. Yeah, let's unmute this though. Soul Power, are you muted?
When I joined before, it said that it was limited because there were too many people in the Hangout that they could only have the mic open for a certain number of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why when I joined, I said I'd been muted.
Just when you started, though. You can unmute yourself.
But it took Lauren R. After she left, I became unmuted. I think there's I don't know. I've never had this many people.
When I
in
came
Hangout.
in, I unmuted myself. And then
Yeah, I
went
think you
top.
can unmute yourself, right? I think that just the initial settings. I hope
maybe.
anyway.
The top right has that little microphone.
Let me unmute.
Don, what were you saying about the short blurbs and the social connections, social connection light or something?
Just that it seems that the world is moving toward really light connection instead of in-depth connection, and that therefore they're starving for connection. So everybody, that's why Facebook became so popular, and stays popular, even though I'm not a Facebook fan. What can I say? But it means that everybody needs and has this starving desire to talk about themselves and with other people quickly, and that with the phones, thank you for moving just so quickly, yeah. And with texting and everything else, everybody wants to speak fast and everybody wants to interconnect quickly, and it's just getting faster and more as people become more starving.
This is not completely related to what you just said, but just as one of my own social media strategies, when I start liking someone or I think they're interesting, I like to move it out of whatever social media I'm in to some other place, because it kind of makes it more real in a way. I mean, even as light as, well, I like this person, I'll connect with them on Facebook or on LinkedIn or something. I don't really use Facebook. But even better than that, taking it even to a phone call, it makes a huge difference. So,
The conversation that's why people are getting sold in conversations.
Yeah. They become less
this
abstract to both of you. You're kind of this abstract entity when you're always on the same social media platform. You talk in real life, it's totally different. I talked to this woman, and Gary, I'm sorry if I keep talking about Texas, but she's a smart small business consultant, and we talked on the phone, and she had some bizarre conspiracy theories about Obama. I mean, way out there, beyond your normal. She thought Obama was exchanging Satan. They were all Satanists, and they were exchanging hand signals for their Satan power thing that was running America.
Wow.
But
So you got to get in a conversation with her. You realized she was kind of nuts.
Well, you know what?
You never would have known that if you.
Yeah, but the nutsness, the crazy part was kind of contained. It had a firewall around it. Even though I said, "Oh my God, that is so warped." It was sort of like since we talked on the phone, the relationship has been better in other areas except politics. So I'm just saying, that makes a big difference. Taking it to another medium, whatever that is, chat with that person or whatever. But once I start liking the person, I like to move them into, into other dimensions.
Email and then Skype or...
Yeah, email even.
Get them on the phone as fast as you can.
Get them on the phone, yeah. Even believe, hey, can we talk on the phone real quick about this? Totally makes a difference. Anyway, other people have any other approaches with people? Oh, wait, let's say hi to others. Soul Power, hi. Soul Power, you got a nice smile. Are you muted?
Yes, that would be a yes.
Okay, boom.
There.
I had to unmute myself.
There you go.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, Rob, how's everybody doing?
Doing great.
I can't stay long, but I wanted to jump on and say hi. That's so funny you're talking about connecting with people offline. I actually had the opposite note. There was somebody I knew in real life that once we connected online, I was like, oh, you're kind of strange. And so I was laughing. And she had the same, maybe, yeah, it was someone I know, an old friend I'd known for years, and we had been out of contact, and we reconnected on Facebook, and she had those exact same theories, and I was like, who are these people? And, what have you done with my friends? So
wait, what exact same theories?
Well, about Obama and Satan and all of that.
Maybe that's more common than
I was laughing so hard. They were the same theory.
There is an anonymity on the internet where you can just pretty much let your weirdness fly around as much as you want. Kind of a sense of anonymous.
Yes. Free to troll. So.
I remember when they started.
I'm trying to see. Everybody's screen is so small. I can't see who's here. I see Gary.
If you click on somebody's little picture, it'll be big. To see it normally again, click off their picture. Just click
that
it
is
again.
So cool. Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody.
This really is an amazing. I love this technology.
Other than the sidebar conversation, were we just hanging out? What are we talking about?
There's all sorts. There's another one on the page.
Obama Satanist is just a sidebar. Yeah.
People are talking about us on the event page too. A few people are like, they're saying blah blah blah. I thought this was for meeting people. People are complaining about us. People are doing all sorts of stuff. I don't care.
I think people didn't know how to get in.
Oh.
I don't know, but that happens.
I had trouble getting in. I couldn't figure it out.
It took me a minute too.
Well, it took me a while to figure out where the invite showed up at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's how I do. Maybe I do it wrong because if smart professionals can't figure it out, I think we got a problem, or Google has a problem. But what I do when actually it's really complicated. It's not that easy. But when people RSVP, they either say yes, I'm coming, or they say maybe. And then I put those people in two different circles. Then I launch the Hangout on Air with just myself.
You're making it overcomplicated.
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
Because if you create an event in it.
Let me finish just for the benefit.
Okay.
Then I copy the link from from the HOA to the event. Then I invite those two circles. The first one, the people who said yes first, so they have first shot. Then about 2 minutes after that, the people that said maybe. And so everybody who RSVP'd should be able to get in. Plus the event itself was set up through the community. Oh, that wouldn't work. But you do have to RSVP. But you guys should have all gotten a link. Okay, so now tell me what I did wrong, Dawn or whoever. Go ahead. What do you do?
You set up the event through the community. You don't put anybody in any circles. And you don't send out any personal invitations. The event takes care of it for you, launches it, they click on the link, it goes to the event. And in done that way, it says join now.
You can't do an HOA that way. You can do a regular event that way, but not a Hangout on air. The events module and the Hangout modules are really separate.
Are they still? Because when I did it recently, it worked.
Yeah.
But
That will work with the regular.
Yeah.
Rob.
Go ahead, someone.
Now, see, the way you did it has enabled you to record this meeting or this gathering, because if you had done it through the community, you wouldn't have been able to record it.
Right. And let me tell you another way that people always trip up when they do the regular way through the community is, and I did this, and a bunch of people, like, you put a lot of energy and then it's just like such a weird thing. They will launch a regular, not an HOA, but a regular Hangout through the events module. And then I thought this too. I thought, okay, I'm going to have a Hangout. I now have to launch a Hangout. No, Google launches it automatically then, and you join it. So what happens all the time is people launch their own, and then they can't get into their own Hangout, and then they'll post.
So there's two all of a sudden.
So there's two all of a sudden, and you can't have your own. So it's, But yeah,
I apologize. I didn't know about the. I didn't know this was on there. But so I'm going to be giving my opinions to the entire world forever after. Fame through YouTube.
So do we have? We used to have two different chat systems, and they make that one now. Group chat. Let me see. Is there two now? I think there's two.
There should be a viewer.
You mean
because I got another window. So that's weird. To run one of these Hangouts, you now have to. Yeah, there's people talking on this other one about us. Anyway, I don't know what people say.
On the event, yeah.
The event page?
I was typing there before I got my invitation.
No, so there's like three then. We have our own chat window in this. There's the one on the event page, and I think there's still. Are other people saying there's another window where people are chatting? Mike Bain said anyone in, so he was probably trying to get in. Laura Varg, weird stuff going on for me. I can see and hear video, but I can't get in. I think this is a Google issue. I agree. Who knows? One of these years I'll figure it out. Anyway.
Well, and I also think there's a limit to how many people can be on at one time in these.
That's true.
I thought there was a limit of something like 10, right?
Yeah.
So we might have to take some turns. And I'll pop out here in just a little while.
Let
me speak up for 1 second to say goodbye. I have a client in a couple minutes and I have to go. So I'll let somebody else in.
Dawn, pleasure talking to you again.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you so much for your advice.
Yeah,
Helpful tips on Google Hangouts.
Bye.
Bye, Dawn. I'm pretty much done too. Does anybody else? Anybody want any last-minute rants? I don't want these to go over an hour because I've always what I said before. It's like what they say about the gym membership. If you have a gym membership and you go to the gym and all of a sudden you say 2 hours, you just don't go the next time. I think the Hangouts are the same way. So is there anybody we haven't? Risto, can you hear us yet? We never heard from Risto. Is he muted?
Yeah, he's muted.
Anybody have any, Elizabeth? Anybody have any last minute? Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
What's on your mind, Jessica?
Nothing's on my mind. I was listening, and I had some things to say earlier, but I'm just glad to be here, and I think this is a really cool group. I've enjoyed the community as well so far.
Oh, well, cool. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier. I'm not a very good host, apparently. What do you do?
Oh, it's all good. What do I do? I'm a digital strategist. So I help people who like your locksmith, I got all excited about your locksmith conversation because I was like, yes, there's a place, but he does not need every social media thing out there.
That's a cool field to be in. You would think everybody would be doing that, digital strategy, but it's actually kind of hard to find.
You've got internet marketers, you've got social media marketers, and those are the two places where people kind of position themselves, but nobody ever looks at the top and says, how does that actually tie into the marketing? How does that actually tie into your business? And what are you doing offline, and how does it complement each other?
Yeah, that's a good area. I might want to talk to you offline about that sometime. I'm not going to stay here forever.
Right.
Yeah. I have to run too. I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Yeah, because this was, corporations don't get hour-long coffee breaks, and we probably shouldn't.
I have to run. I have to go too.
Well, hey, I had fun. You guys want to do this again? Maybe we'll start doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you doing? When are you starting up the series again?
Maybe next week. Maybe we'll do that content management thing I fear, and maybe start doing these. I would like other people to do them too, and I'll provide technical help, but I don't always want to be the lead. I think sometimes it's fun just to kind of be in the background. So maybe other people, either on this now or.
Have you considered promoting anybody to moderator?
Well, we have.
Well, as far as recording Hangouts, one of the things that we talked about was getting people in the community to start meeting online and talking to each other. Like, I'm really interested to hear more about the digital strategy, and just kind of interviewing her, the kind of questions that I would ask, and then recording it and throwing it into the group so that we can start getting to know each other.
What's your first name again? I'm sorry.
Adrian. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting it's not up there.
Yeah, Adrian, as I said before, I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yes.
And, I totally, Adrian interviewed me about the community, and it was fun. And I think that is so good because it kind of brings entrepreneurs out of their shell. So if there's anything, what's that old saying? I think Pat Buchanan used it in a presidential campaign. Don't wait for orders from headquarters. March to the sound of the guns. It's like, I will help. I will, give you shared circles and technical advice on how to set up these Hangouts. But I don't want to be the limiting factor where everything has to be about Rob. So if they're, by all means, go with that interviewing stuff. That sounds great.
Yeah,
we'll help you on the interview.
I had a conversation, and it's recorded, so they're going to see this, and like, she forgot their names. But he's a dog walker. I remember people's stories.
Andrew.
Yes.
Andrew, yeah.
And then the Camille, she's down in North Carolina, and we all talked about interviewing 3 different people in the community, just at random, whoever we thought was interesting, and then putting it in the group and seeing, what. Bye, Angela.
Bye.
Seeing what popped up. So.
So is that?
We're working on it.
What were you talking about?
The small business community. This one.
Oh, this one. Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, interviewing members in this community. So.
Anyone else have any last-minute rants or anything on your mind you want to say? I'm going to go soon.
It's good to see you.
I just wanted to say. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say to this Jessica Duell. Is that how you say your name?
That's how very good. Most people call me Dewell, but I love it when you get a Duel. It's like get your, throw down your glove and let's go.
Although Dewell sounds pretty cool, like a hip hop name from the streets. Dewell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in what you're doing. I've added you on Google Plus, and we'll have to. I'll see what you post.
Okay. Very cool.
I'm going to end the broadcast now, but not close my window right away. But I'm going to say goodbye to our studio audience. So thank you. Sorry if this was weird, but we had fun today. So Rob out, and I'm going to say goodbye to the group now. But
ciao.